Sony's already given us one terrific OLED this year in the A9G, but that's their top of the line model. Now we're going to show you what comes right before it in the 2019 lineup. Hi, I'm Carl with Apt, and in this video we're going to be looking at the A8G series from Sony and showing you what kind of updates it got over last year's A8F. This is a TV I had high hopes for because I like the A9G so much. I knew there were going to be some areas where they had to scale back to keep the cost down, but as soon as I finished setting up the TV, I was greeted with something I wasn't expecting: Android N. I'm not sure why they didn't put O on here right out of the box, but that makes a big difference. O runs way more smoothly, it's a better interface, and just an overall better experience. Hopefully we get a firmware update soon so people can enjoy the much better operating system. The other part I wasn't too thrilled with was the remote. This is not an inexpensive TV. I really think Sony should have included the newer and much better looking remote that you get with the A9G and the 950G. Don't get me wrong, this one's still completely functional, it just doesn't look or feel nearly as nice. And the last negative before I get into the positives is no HDMI 2.1 features. None of the 2019s so far have had HDMI 2.1, which was no surprise. They were pretty clear with us about that at CES, but at least a couple, like again the 950G and the A9G, have had eARC. This has almost the same input set as the X800G, a much less expensive TV, but thankfully it's not all negative. This does come with Sony's great sounding acoustic surface audio system, but it's a little different than last year's A8F. The G has 2 actuators where the F had 3 to give you a dedicated center channel. Sony's claim is that they've been able to improve the efficiency to the point where having that dedicated center channel wasn't necessary. And bass is still going to be supplied by 2 subwoofers. They're not big, but they're pretty effective. After listening to this one for a while, I do think that it sounds just as good as the A8F. I wasn't even noticing the lack of a center channel. Now, if you choose not to use the built-in audio, the pedestal that comes with the G has a neat little trick that the F didn't. You can flip it around and put the TV back on, which is going to create a gap at the bottom that allows you to use a soundbar without blocking the screen. I honestly think all TV pedestals should be designed this way. It's really nice. And the sound's not the only thing that's good on this one. The picture quality is still top-notch, even better, I would say, than the F. The panel technology was updated for 2019, and because of that, you're going to get even smoother motion and supposedly better input lag times than last year. However, when we did our input lag tests, each of the TVs was at 47.2 milliseconds with game mode turned on. Now, to be fair, this was done on 1080p at 60 Hz, so they may have improved the 4K input numbers. We don't have the tools here to accurately test 4K lag yet. And motion did seem to be slightly better on the A8G, which is a great thing since the F was already excellent. For picture processing, this one gets Sony's X1 Extreme processor, just like the F. It gives you realistic colors and great contrast, which is very evident as soon as you throw on some HDR content. You can see lots of detail in the bright and dark areas of the picture. Black uniformity, as you probably could have guessed, was perfect, and because there's no need for a separate backlight, you're not going to see any sort of light bleed or have any local dimming issues that you'd typically experience with an LED backlit TV. Viewing angles were super wide, which anyone sitting off-center will definitely appreciate, and the screen handled reflections well too. Here we have one of our set lights shining off the screen, and you can see how it softens it up to the point where it really becomes almost a non-factor. The list of updates isn't huge, but there's some notable things here. You get the multifunctional pedestal, updated panel technology, better motion handling, great sound, and slightly better picture, but you're still missing an eARC. Input lag times, at least on 1080p at 60 Hz, weren't showing an improvement over the A8F. The Android N operating system and older remote were kind of a bummer to see too. What do you think? Do the updates outweigh the negatives? Make sure to let us know in the comments. And for all of our current pricing, make sure you click the links in the description. As always, we appreciate you checking out our video. If you liked it, be sure to give a thumbs up. And if you want to get updated whenever we post new content, don't forget to subscribe.